friends. This is Vladimir from Croatia, from Seasunsalsa, and welcome to the new year 2021. I hope this one is going to be better for us than the last one. I think it's already better. We have some news regarding the progress of vaccination around the world, but let's see where this goes. I'm starting again the podcast series where we explore some interesting stories about our industry. And one of the most interesting story and questions actually now is when will be dancing again, and what are the future of our industry and the dancing events also. So I'm lucky to know few people in the industry, and beside informal private chatting with them, I got an idea to start talking a little public on what we have been talking kind of in the backstage and discussing, and maybe to bring some information about the plans for the future from the people that are involved in the organizing the dance events, and also artists too. No questions, this is one of the toughest, actually the toughest period for our industry and the whole community at this point, especially for the professionals. I mean, artists that live from dance, also some organizers and promoters that live from this, and many others too. So it is a big topic for them too, because of course it's a part of the survival also, because it is the profession. So in following few podcasts, I will be covering this topic with few people, and one of them is the guy that I really love a lot, a guy that did a lot for this industry for last 20 years with his wife. So without further ado, Robert, I think, yeah, hey. You're here. So Robert Wright from London, UK. Welcome, Robert. How are you?
I'm fine, man. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm really good. Trying to be optimistic and doing already some planning for this year, but yeah, it's pretty tough. So we had our talks private. So I thought about bringing you here to maybe share something about the past and the future, and maybe share some of your thoughts about this situation we are in. Yeah. Before we start, I really like your place. It's a good place to have to be having a lockdown.
What can I say? All I can say is it's very hot here right now.
Yeah, I need to come there one time. I'll bring my kids. I see it's snowing there.
Oh, it's nice.
Good. So guys, if you will have any questions regarding, there's so many questions, maybe I will not be able to ask, or time to ask Robert or myself included. If we can answer you at this point, we will try to do so. So Robert, we'll try to be quick, informative. This is the big really topic, and first, just like a week ago, last year, I was in London on your event, Mambo City. What happened? Well, I was supposed to be this year too.
Fortunately, we run a number of festivals, so I can say that Mambo City wasn't our last festival last year, because we managed to do that, and then we did a Kizomba festival, which I run with our partners. Joan Giedre, and we ran that in February, and that was great. So we managed to do two festivals, one in January, Mambo City, and in February, Love Like London. After that, I managed to take a trip to Moscow with you.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, right. So while we were in Moscow, I think the world started to change. I remember, because we were getting the news reports of the Lombardy region closing down. Yeah, Northern Lombardy, and then we got the news that a major festival was cancelled. That was the first time that we felt any indication of
Mm.
our industry being affected. I think that was at Bachata Day. I think it was
Yeah,
Bachata
but
Day.
Saturday I was
Yeah,
supposed to go there, and yeah, it was
yeah.
cancelled,
It was cancelled,
postponed.
and yeah, that was postponed. So that was like the first real indication that there could be a potential
So,
major
so what did
problem.
you, so what did you think about that at that time? How is going to turn out?
That,
Did you think it was going to take so long?
no, but we didn't know that it was going to spread the way it was spreading.
Mm.
If you remember rightly, we all went back home and we were thinking we might be okay. Italy has a problem. I think that's how everyone was thinking at that time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Italy has a problem, and Milan wasn't closed down yet. So as the month went on, then we started to hear Milan is getting closed down, and then festivals were still going on around the world. I think Italians were probably going to have a hard time because people were now becoming fearful of having artists from Italy because it seems like it's possible they could be carrying COVID.
Mm.
So I remember this was what was going around at the time. And I think the last festival that we went to was the following month in March, which was in South Africa,
Yeah,
Johannesburg Festival.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I remember me, Gene, Olu, we were all in Johannesburg, and we could, while we were there, we were seeing what was happening around the world, and we could see that things were being shut down around the
Mm,
world,
mm.
and it was, and then the WHO came out and made major announcements. And while we were in South Africa, we then realized that we have to make decisions on our events in the UK. And the
Yeah, I
first thing
think
we,
that was a time when even the events in April or May
mm,
and June didn't think it's going to affect them. It's like okay, one
yeah,
two week,
yeah,
1 2 3 weeks. So
yeah,
then some major events again canceled in March, and then
yeah,
Paris again, Mambo Land in Milan again canceled, and
yeah,
then it was also your event in
yeah,
Mambo City that you have every May, right?
yeah, yeah. But we took the decision in March actually to close our monthly parties, and this was ahead of the government actually locking down. So we actually closed down all our monthly parties. So we
Mm,
didn't have one in March. And the next thing was to look at was our festival. So in March we made a decision not to go ahead with the Five
yeah,
Star
yeah,
Congress,
yeah, yeah.
and we postponed that for a year. But we postponed it for a year. But at that time, I think everybody was thinking this might be over.
So you were thinking that all the people that don't go to Milan, Paris, Croatia, Vienna will come to you, right?
What, the following year? Well, what we did, we said we postponed it for a year. I was still thinking that Croatia might have happened, but remember, this is March. We're thinking about this, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And then as it got to April, May, we could start seeing that it was becoming more and more serious. And we decided, I think at that time, even me and you, we had discussions. And I remember we having the discussions with a number of people. And we could see that in the summer, we'd probably come out of it. But flu season would start again in October. And we could
mm,
see it was starting up again. So what we did, we made a decision. I spoke with Ra. We made a decision that we weren't going to do um, like festival, Love Like London, in February 2021. We made that decision quite early and said, right, we won't do it. I spoke with the hotel and decided Mambo Son, that was supposed to have been in February 2021, we're going to move it to September. So we did that. We moved the date to September. And with the Five Star Congress that was scheduled for May 2021, we decided to move that to September as well and combine both events together in September of 2021. So
yeah.
we really thought that we could not see away that the first part of the year, the first quarter of the year at least, was going to be happening anything. So we decided
Yeah,
to make the decision to move.
yeah. One of the reasons we're having this conversation is to try to bring a bit both personal and professional inside information from the
Yeah.
organizers, at least in this in the talk that I'm having with you, regarding
Mm.
how it affected you, what it does it mean to postpone the event. So
Okay.
if I wasn't an organizer, I would understand. Okay, my ticket is postponed. I have this and this
Mm.
problems about it. I have a airline ticket that I couldn't use. I have a booking for the accommodation that I couldn't use. However,
Mm.
I think it's. I wanted to bring this also up to so we can also discuss this publicly, and
Yeah.
to try to not disclose, but try to show the challenges we are facing, both as organizers, artists too,
Mm.
and basically as professionals in industry. So again, what did it affect you, kind of in a general terms, the postponement of Mambo City, for example?
Okay, well, the postponing of Mambo City,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things to take into account because there's quite a few people affected. You have like a lot of vendors that you would have been dealing with, like
By
from
vendors, you
sound,
mean shoes? Oh, okay. So partners for the sound. Yeah. Okay.
light, dance floors. You have all these people that, um, it's their living as well. So you have that sort of connection happening with that. Then you have the customers that had probably booked their flights,
Mm.
and booked their rooms. So y- things like these were safe. You could refund all the room bookings. All those things could be refunded. When it came to the weekend passes, we carried it over to the following year. But for those people that requested a refund, we gave them the refund. Yeah, so you had that situation that was going on. So you're trying to safeguard and look after the customers as best you can, but you have to try and find a way of making sure everybody is happy because a lot of people are suffering through this. There's a lot of promoters that have put a lot and invested a lot into this. They've invested what they're not going to get back,
Mm.
from this. So there's some events that will not come back from this, and if you do this part time and you have another job, then it's fine because you can probably ride that through. But if you do this full time, then it's very hard. It's very hard because financially, if you commit to this, you would have lost. Yeah,
Yeah.
you would have lost. You'd have lost big, and quite a few people I know did lose big on that. I think we were in a situation where um, the lockdown was happening before we committed too many things financially. Yeah, like for those people that were running festivals in March, they would have committed fully. For us being in May, it gave us a window of opportunity really
Mm-hmm.
to kind of recover and make a plan B, and therefore not actually committing so much financially to the event that we would lose. For us, it became a case of dealing with the hotels because they take a major hit. If you can imagine, like the hotel we work with, the venue is a conference hotel. So being a conference hotel, all conferences stopped. Yeah, all conferences stopped straight away and nothing going on. So you can say this hotel has not had no conferences since March last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of it, a lot of uncertainty. So we dealt with it as best we can. And one thing I will say is that we have a very good customer base. And when I say good, I meant understanding as well,
Mm.
because the majority of the people that booked our event said carry over to next year. They're fine. Carry over to next year, it'll be fine. And I had a lot of support in that way. So
Mm-hmm.
that one, yeah, I could say that we're very thankful for in terms of the community, the salsa community.
Yeah. We had a comment from Steffi Kohler, if I said correct, and she mentioned the fact that I also mentioned just before earlier, all professionals, but artists especially, were really hot because all the events in all industries and the dance event industry being cancelled, artists being prevented from delivering their services, their art to the audience, are basically stripped of any income since the COVID. Thus, we all especially look forward to seeing the opportunities when we are going to start the industry again. So let's try to comment in that direction about. So let's put ourselves in this present, and what is your looking all the things around us? What is your assessment of the situation and some predictions that you can give us regarding the events, including, of course, yours events?
Right. Regarding the artists, yeah, a lot of artists, the ones that do this full time for a living, for their job, have been hit really badly.
Yeah.
Just as the promoters have been hit very, very badly. I think everybody's affected. We have some people that are artists, but they also have another form of living, so they've been okay. But I know some artists, some DJs, for instance, that gave up their full-time job to do this full-time. And when this happened, they had zero income. So there's a lot of people that do have zero income for that. And one of the things we looked at is that we got to try and rebuild the scene and give support to a lot of the artists, our local artists. Yeah,
so
we've got to do.
Can you elaborate? What does it mean? I mean,
Well,
you're speaking personally, not or speaking for the industry in general. I guess you're speaking personally.
I'm speaking both personally and for the industry, because for instance, our events are different from like yours. You have more of an international crowd that comes. So when you go to Croatia, it's an international crowd that you have come in, and your artists are all international that comes.
Yeah.
Our events we run is an international event, but the crowd that we have, majority of our crowd are local, are from the UK. So the way we're looking at it is that the instructors that we have here need a lot of support. So we want to try and give more support to the UK artists and try and rebuild our scene here in the UK. Because when we start back, you would have had 1 year.
So Robert, when you say by giving support, that would mean when your next event happens, or next few events, you will be more focusing on giving the opportunities to the local artists from the UK, let's say like this.
Yeah. We'll be looking more to give more support to them.
Well, I think that is what is going to happen in many other events that are in your, let's say, nature, by your nature. So the people that have events more towards local crowd, they will be employing more local artists. Yeah,
well, like
which it makes sense.
Yeah, and at the same time, what you have to look at is that we would have had a year with zero beginners. There would have been no beginners classes happening for a year. So that means that you have no students that would have moved from beginners to improvers. And so all of that is going to affect the numbers coming in. You've also got a lot of people that probably would have taken up other hobbies other than salsa. They'd have find other things to do other than dance. You know, I know a lot of people, a hell of a lot of people have taken up riding. Yeah. And I know that because I have sons that have taken up riding as well, and it's quite addictive. And that's become their passion. So you're going to find that other people will take up other things that they want to do other than dance. So we're going to have a reduction of people that are going to be booking festival passes. And also what Steffi did mention as well, people have lost their jobs. People don't have that disposable income to go and attend festivals as well. So you lost a big number in that area. So the scene in general is going to need a rebuild, and it's going to need everybody that's in it to help do this. You know, so yeah, that's the way I'm looking at it. That the whole scene needs a rebuild. One of the
Yeah,
things that,
it's gonna be interesting, not in a positive way, but it's gonna be interesting seeing the landscape that we will have in let's say post-COVID. But I see this post-COVID as not as like you draw a line and then you're closed and then the next day you're open. I think we'll have a gradual transition to the from kind of events with a lot of or certain measures being employed to the point where no measures are being employed, and that to that point, the second one where let's say it's back to normal, it's hard to predict when it's going to happen. So if you would be a magician and looking at the future, how do you see this play out? Do you see that in 2021 there will be possible to do certain things, and what would be the challenges, for example, for you if you plan to do Mambo City, if I heard good, in October? So how do you see this play out
in September, there's a lot of uncertainty. I think that's happening. And when I say uncertainty in a number of different things that are going to take place. As much as we want to plan and say we want to do something, it's not in our hands. And I think that's what we got to accept. We can make those plans, but a lot of things are going to be taken out of your hands, and this can even stem with even venues. Venues can't be certain of what's going to happen. Yeah, I would love to say, right, I would like to, or what we want to do is to plan to say, right, we're going to be at the Radisson in September, right? But there could be also a question: will the Radisson be there in September? Yeah, because the hotel industry has been hit so hard, and I couldn't say, I'm not saying that they have a problem, but so many things have been happening to businesses throughout this COVID thing that it's not impossible. Yeah, these things are not impossible to happen. So yeah, I plan to be there in September. I plan to have artists there in September. But some of these artists could change. They could decide they want a different career.
Yeah. So for me, it's not like I'm sneaking up on you and what, but can you explain? Do you have like a war plan? About you have a September date. Normally, when you have an event, we as organizers basically, you already, after the event is done, you already have a date for the next year's event. You already have certain artists confirmed. The venue will support you, because if you don't have the venue, then you cannot publish the date, right? So now the things are a bit changed. Definitely. You said basically the first thing, the date is already not fixed.
No, the date is confirmed.
I mean, it's confirmed, but
confirmed,
in theory, it will maybe not happen. That's what I'm saying. So
no. I'm saying that.
Just a second. Knowing that, I mean, it will happen if, as you said, the government will allow it. But as I said, it's still not confirmed like in like guaranteed like in previous years. So knowing that a lot of things are in flux, in maybe state, let's say like this, how do you plan to organize and make a plan for this year's event, including maybe artist booking and so on? I'm asking you this question because maybe some artists are now watching this, and I'm sure they're watching this, but usually after the event, either you call them or they call you. Yo, bro, yo, Robert. I don't know how they call you. So, so what's up? We are good for the next year, no? So that's what happens, immediately 1 year before the event. This year is not going to be because of objective reasons, and let's try to share with all around us, the artists, are ways of thinking right now, and why we cannot, let's say, confirm them 6 months, 7, 10 months in advance. How is going to play out for you this
Okay,
year?
all right. For instance, like what we're saying to you, there's a few artists that we have spoken to and we say we have confirmed for doing things. But what I'm saying is there's uncertainty in we don't know what's going to happen with the way the virus is going,
Yeah,
the way the vaccines are going. People are getting vaccinated, yes. Can we say it's worked 100%? We can't say that yet. We're going to have to wait and see what happens through the summer to see what's happening. And like I say, we have confirmed with our hotel. Yes. We have confirmed with certain vendors. Yes. Fine. The plan is there. What I'm saying is, with uncertainty, you could find that in August, the hotel announces we've gone bankrupt. We're closing down all these branches. We don't know. And I think now I would not have had that in my mind 2 years ago, 10 years ago. That wouldn't have been in my mind. But in this year of COVID, anything is possible.
there's no limits. So
Yeah, there's uncertainty. Even the floor company that we use could go out of business. The sound company that we use could go out of business. The light company we use could go out of business. Airlines that we use can go out of business.
okay. So when do you plan to publish your event and the lineup and everything, or did you already publish it? Maybe I missed.
Well, put it this way, because of I could have made an announcement and started promoting in this month or last month, but I thought I would wait and give time because I think there's too much going on for us to start promoting a festival right now. So I
So
decided
what
to.
is this is the great intro for the questions I want to ask. What are the
Yeah.
factors beside the general uncertainty? What are you waiting for?
What
And
am I waiting for?
yeah, what are you waiting for? And is there the only one decision, one thing that you're waiting for, or there is certain thing that need to align that you go with announcement?
I'm waiting for us to be able to go back to dancing again. Yeah.
It's
When
too
I can
general, man.
see,
What does it mean?
when I can see social distancing get to the point where we can go out and do partner dance, that's what I'm waiting
What
for.
will it take? What will it take to be that, in your
I
opinion?
think what it will take to do that is for the vaccination program, I think, to be on the way for people to be vaccinated and have confidence that they can safely go out and dance. And it's about having the confidence of the dance in public, really.
So
Because
basically, yeah. So you see vaccination as a game changer for
yeah,
the industry, basically in general, yeah.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, and so you have vaccinations. That's going to be one of the things, and the sorry, my train of thought went from it. So vaccinations is one. People having the confidence because you remember the safety of the dancers is paramount for us. So we have to think about dancer safety first. So if we can have a safe environment for them, we can announce that when we know that people are comfortable with coming out and dancing. Right now, we don't see that. Not in the salsa world so much. Put this way, from what I can see, we have kizomba dancers, they're addicted to the dance. We have central bachata, they're addicted to the dance. And it's like they will be like the first I see coming out dancing because they have this overriding addiction for it. The salsa dancers, not so much. I don't see them having that same sort of addiction for coming out dancing. Some do, but not as much as I see in the kizomba and the bachata field.
Okay, so I'm having trouble understanding what you're saying. So I understand that your opinion is about that vaccine will save us. I completely agree about it. I just didn't understand when do you think is the moment when we will go dancing? Do you think when the government allows it, or you think that even then there will be no point in making the event because people will need still more time to be confident enough to come to the dance floor?
I think when the government.
If I understood your words right,
All
Salsa
right.
people are afraid. Is there? I don't know.
I'm saying, look, when the government announced that it's safe, and I
Yeah.
think people will start dancing again, we can start promoting. We can start promoting that because now it's for us to let the dance public have confidence in our ability to keep a safe environment for them as well.
So
Yeah, but
basically, how is going in UK? I see in Europe, it's still we are far away from having a widespread vaccination at least until May or June. So, for example, if that happens in June in UK, then you are planning to open sales or start promoting, not
yeah,
before. You will
yeah.
not actually promote it before you know it's going to happen. Do you think this 3 months period from June or maybe July to September will give you enough time to make the event happen?
I think so. I think well, what happened, we had quite a few people that had booked already for it. So we do have some bookings. Um, I would say we would start promoting from about June. That's when I think. That's when I think it's going to start. I see that as the safe period for people dancing again, and that's
Mhm.
just me guessing. It could be earlier. It could be as early as May, but it depends on how the rollout for the vaccine goes. At the moment, I think they've only vaccinated 2 million people in the UK.
So what is your last date? I'm kind of how to say taking the words from your mouth. What would be your last dates to
Yeah.
start promoting? To wait for the
The
promotion
last
for
day to
this
wait.
year's event. Yeah.
Well, I always have a back out, a back out date. So I think that the last date for us would be probably the end of June. The end of June probably be the last date.
Mm.
I don't think we could wait any later than that.
Well,
I don't think.
the good thing is, as you said in the beginning, the crowd that is will be coming to Mambo City is your
Mm,
wide crowd from UK,
yeah,
and in most cases there are a lot of people dancing in London already. So in most cases they don't need flights and they don't need so much time to organize
yeah,
in advance, as
mm,
opposed to some international events. I will not name
mm.
which ones that where people need more time to organize because of the different flight options and so on.
Yeah,
So yeah, I wish that happens according to your plans. Now, so let's say this works out good. Vaccination is done and governments allow the events. We I would say we are special categories in events, especially hit in this crisis. We cannot be like event like
mm,
some conferences where you sit and you watch the presentation and then you sit
mm.
2 meters away from each other. We are a physical event with a lot of physical contact.
Yeah.
Um, how do you see the event rolling out when it happens? The audience that will come, do you think the atmosphere will be the same? Do you think people will be kind of stiff, insecure, or maybe just the first day and then everything will be as before?
I
Plus,
think if
plus, do you still think it's the same question? In this case, we will have need to wear masks still, even if the vaccination took place.
if the vaccination took place, I don't think people will be wearing masks dancing that way. They might wear masks out publicly, but I think I think people would feel relatively safe if they're going to come to the event. If they're not going to if they're going to feel nervous, they're not going to be booking. That's the way I'm looking at it, because anyone coming to a festival knows what to expect. That they come for a couple of reasons. Some come for just doing the workshops. Some comes to do the social dancing, and some come just to socialize. Just to socialize. So I think if you have any fear of social dancing or catching anything through social dancing or through socializing, you won't come. Yeah, the people that will be there are the people that will either be vaccinated, those that want to dance. So I don't think there'll be a problem on that side. What we have to do is make sure we have a safe environment and that people are vaccinated. If you are vaccinated, then you probably won't have no fear of catching anything. But the way the vaccinations are working now, from what I understand, is that although you're vaccinating and it protects you from being sick, it doesn't stop you from carrying it. So if you have not had a vaccination, then you will be vulnerable to picking it up. Yeah. So people that have not been vaccinated, I think those are the ones that will probably be apprehensive about coming to the event. So yeah, I think people will make their own minds up when it comes to that and their own safety and look after themselves in that way. All we can do is provide a safe environment for them to dance in and make it as safe as possible. The hotel themselves will be working quite well at that, because as a hotel environment, they have to put things in place for that. So we'll be working with the hotel
Yeah,
alongside them.
I'm trying to imagine that scene coming to the salsa festival. Being like 1.5 years not touching each other. Actually, not just not touching, avoiding each other. In the street,
Yeah,
in the shop,
yeah.
everywhere. And now it's basically, will that 1.5 year period change something? Basically more psychologically with people. I'm really interested, but I think the best therapy is going to dance, because you will be touching so much those 3 days that after that maybe it's a new way of promotion.
It's kind. I get
You
a
get some
vision of.
customers.
I get the vision of not seeing like your partner for a year and then seeing them for the first time. You're probably rushing to each other's arms. That probably could be the effect of people wanting to dance or missing dance so much.
Yeah, I think first night nobody's going to come to the dance floor before 4 o'clock. Everybody would want to talk with everybody, and then well,
Yeah.
good. Yeah. I wanna address one now question. So let's say that Mambo City will happen in September, and I really do hope so, and I think it's going to happen. Will you be doing some changes to program because of COVID situation, or basically because of the vaccination? You think it's all good to be like everything back to normal? I'm not saying you need to be specific, but do you foresee some things? Because if we need to do some measures in aligned, maybe some I don't know, the distance. I mean, it's silly to say the distancing. You do the distancing during the registration and then everybody gets together. But do you predict that some programs will need to kind of align with the situation in the future?
Well, I'm trying to think. What will change? The things that I think will change would be the way classes are done, but I don't think it's because of the situation with COVID now. I think what's happened is that there's been a lot of changes and people's had to change the way they do things in the last year. And a lot of people, for instance, have been doing classes online. A lot of top, the really good instructors are making a good living doing classes online. What I can see happening is at festivals, us actually having rooms with classes being run online where your instructor might be in a different country, and you can run a few classes online that way. This is the way I see things going forward, because people have learnt new things, technology they've taken on, the way they're doing things now. Yeah, that very much can happen. And at the same time, you have a lot of students that will want classes online. So there could be an opening for you providing a facility for people to access classes at your Congress, and they're in a different country, and they can access the class online in that way. So I see those two things kind of happening and growing out of it. So this is
I
something I
see.
think.
I definitely see this as option.
Mm,
Actually, I guess we all promoters are consider it in one or other way, and I
mm.
wouldn't be surprised that also we'll be having DJ sets with DJs that are not
In the room.
physically present in the room.
Yeah. Well, that one I can see is a little bit harder. I think that one might be harder, but yeah, I understand that, because there's so much that we've been. Like, I DJ every Saturday. Now I've been doing DJ every Saturday since we went into lockdown, and we've been creating good energy that way. But one of the things I know the DJ likes to see the dance floor, and that element we're missing
Well,
from
I'm
the
not. I'm
DJ.
not saying. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense to bring the DJ. I'm just
Mm,
putting it out there that the same as online classes have been done with
yeah,
artists. There were like I don't know how many thousands of DJ sets have been
yeah,
played,
yeah,
and actually it got really a big following,
yeah,
and
yeah,
we discovered a lot of new talent from everywhere. So basically, aside from losing something, I think you gain something. You can basically feature now any artist or DJ or
yeah,
speaker or panelist, if you want, on your event from
yeah.
anywhere in the world,
It was.
regardless where he lives.
Mm,
If you make it and produce it right, you
mm,
can you can play with it and you can add a new value to the event. So
yeah,
so from that point, I see benefits, of course. One of the unmissable, unreplaceable things that artists and DJs bring to the event is their energy,
yeah,
and especially many artists are known for their social dancing. So if you don't bring the artists
yeah,
there, you will lose in one way. But I see it as a kind of, they call it the hybrid. I see it as success is a good option because events maybe not will not be visited
mm,
in those numbers as before, at least in the beginning.
yeah,
So we will all have lesser budgets to work with,
yeah,
and the one way to how to say cross that bridge with
yeah.
budget is basically drop some expenses, and travel and accommodation expenses might are
As
sometimes
well.
big expenses. So you'll be kind of finishing ending as organizer promoter paying the fee of the artist or the DJ or a guest, but will not be but will be saving the travel expenses, etc.
Yeah. So I suppose we just got to invest in the technology to make it possible to run classes like that.
Yeah.
And,
So I already see few questions. I haven't asked you that question on purpose, but I see guys are twisting my hand. Do you think that we as events will at one point require our guests who want to be at the event to be vaccinated?
yeah. Well, this is something that I am seeing. This is something that
And
I'm seeing people
is this
bring up.
guy?
Question
Is this guy?
about Anthony.
Yeah, and the other guy, the other guy too, but yeah,
Yeah.
our
Well,
friend, our friend from Ukraine or Canada or Trinidad.
I
I forgot where he's.
I can see I can see a situation occurring where people are going to be required to have some sort of vaccination pass, and that's going to be probably required for, say, traveling or whatever. And I'm sure the government is going to be putting something like that in place. So I'm not saying it's something us as organizers are going to enforce. I think that's something that is going to be enforced by on a government level for large scale events. So I can see that happening from that way. Us as organizers, we can only do so much. We can say, well, yeah, people, we need you to be vaccinated, but we don't know how that's going to take, what form of proof people are going to have to do that. Because I can say, right, you need to have a vaccination to attend the event. Well, how do I get you to prove you got a vaccination to buy a pass? Do I have to see your ID before you come in? Do I get security to have to show for you to show that ID before you get in? I don't know. I don't know what form or what shape it's going to take.
Well, the thing is that there's always two sides, to each. In one way, yeah, I agree. It brings this. I don't know how it's going to be implemented, but requirements for vaccine. It brings a lot of, in a way, logistical troubles, and in a way, it doesn't fit good with certain people, with many people, I would say. But in the other way, if we kind of don't check, then we are open again for a lot of possible problems that may arise again with COVID, and then we are back to square one. So,
Yeah.
so it's kind of it's really tough situation, So,
But
of course, it's not going to fall on the back of the organizer to enforce it. It needs to be. It needs to be a lot of smart people needs to make the decision on top, and then employed vertically down to all the industries and so on. That's kind of my opinion.
Well, that's what I said. The government would put something in place. I think you're going to be seeing something like that coming from airlines as well. Before you can fly, you need to have some sort of proof that you've that you've been vaccinated. And I think you're going to see that come on a number of events, particularly large events. So I can see it as something that's happening, but like you say, it's going to come from government level and trickle down. It won't be left to the people running their own industry to do it.
Yeah, this is well, 2021 will definitely be a year where either we go back little and see the light, or we see that this might be a bigger trouble than we already thought it will be. Yeah. So basically, what do you think then? This is now then your opinion when the vaccination comes. Do you see the landscape of the events like hyper producing? Do you see a lot of events becoming, or do you see a lot of organizers or promoters also going away from this because either they're not interested, they lost money, they couldn't sustain themselves? How do you see events in 2021 or 2023 coming back?
The way I see events happening, the numbers aren't going to be as big as they were. I think we're going to lose a lot of We're going to lose a lot of small events, I believe, purely because of the number of people that's going away from dance. We're going to have to think. We're going to have to think about how we grow the event and grow the dance again. So it's bigger than just us as festivals. It's going to have to happen from a club level with dance, with people going out to attending clubs, attending parties, attending classes. So that's why I said that everybody has to work together to grow the scene again, particularly in salsa. Like I said, you had no beginners and no improvers for the last year. And if you stop getting beginners and improvers, one thing I know is that's how the scene dies. If you don't get that. Yeah, and we used to run our club, a club every Friday, Ealing Town Hall, right? Our biggest class was the beginners class. The next biggest class was the improvers. And then as you go further up, the classes get smaller. And the reason being is because the advanced dancers, as soon as they reach an advanced level, they go. So you go beginners, improvers, intermediate, advanced, they go. So you know that. So the beginners is always the biggest class. We've had a year of no beginners. So that's what we got to think about and bringing people back into it. So the scene, I see the scene as being smaller. The experienced dancers that are there are the ones that have been going out and keeping the scene going. A lot of dancers have got into other hobbies. They found other hobbies. I hear people saying, yeah, there's going to be a flood of people coming back into it. Yeah, there'll be a lot of people that will be coming back into it, but there'll be a lot of people that's gone out of it. You know, so we're going to have to, I see the scene being rebuilt, and it's going to take like a couple of years for it to get back to what it was. That's what I personally believe from my past experience of running clubs and doing this. That's how I see it.
So do you see, commenting on that one? So basically, in your opinion, let's say the artists, a lot of artists that could make it online, or like top professional artists will come back because they will be the first ones to get the work. But basically, artists that are more local and less travel internationally might get work either in their dance studios, so they will need to restart, and they might organize something on the local level, or work with the promoters on the local level to restart the scene.
I think they'll work with the promoters on a local level to restart the scene. I think that's what has to happen first, because the scene has to come first.
Yeah, and I would say especially the people's income. I mean, a lot of people, in a way, save money without traveling, without possibilities to spend money somewhere. You know, a lot of people save money, but then again, a lot of people lost their jobs. So just the question: how many of the people from our industry lost their jobs, or kind of save money? So we'll see how that goes. So Robert,
I think, yeah. I was going to say, in our scene, we have people from a broad section of society, and I mean broad. You have people that probably work as a barman, from anywhere from that to people that are doctors, accountant, lawyers. So we have a wide variety of people that come and make up our scene. You know, some of them are doing well, you know, and working and got the disposable income, save money. Some of them are probably find themselves a lot richer since COVID because they ain't gone anywhere to spend any money.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the opposite end, you've got people that's lost their jobs. You know, people that have been unable to, you know, to survive. You know, there's couples that are breaking up because they cannot afford to live together purely because they've lost their jobs and had to go back to their parents. So there's a lot that's happened in COVID in the last year that has devastated a lot of people, and even mental health. You know, a lot of people are suffering with mental. You just have to go on Facebook and see some of the conversations that you realize, you know what, it's not even worth arguing with anybody on Facebook because everyone's going through a stressful period. Everyone has their own anxieties, and what you want is to try and make people's lives better, give people a positive thing. So not even on Facebook, I don't even argue with anyone on Facebook. All I want to do on Facebook is play music to people and try and encourage them and make them feel better. But when it comes,
sorry.
So when it comes to having confrontations, you know, I avoid it now.
I would jump on this positive part that you mentioned, and just mentioned that I'm positive about. I don't think that that we will have as many people as before on any of our events. However, there were so many positive things happening and came alive from our industry professionals and hobbies too. Like as you said, you DJ. There's so many DJs now
Yeah.
DJing. There's so many shows online that try to bring positivity back to community, and there are a lot of individuals in our scene keeping the dance and keeping the scene alive. So in a way, and of course, all these platforms connect us, and we can all virtually consume all this energy, which yeah, in a way is going to at one point need to go back offline, or at least offline and stay, and will definitely stay online for sure. Robert, I think we nailed a lot of points. Guys, I've seen your questions, but if you have any more questions, feel free to ask. Now is the time, because Robert will be sharing with us some final thoughts. I mean, you already said a lot of things, but feel free to share on this topic anything I forgot to ask you. And you guys, if you want to ask Robert, how much will be the pass? Ask him now. Is it a free edition or not?
Yes, Larissa. We need to, like Larissa, like she was saying, yeah, we need to inspire people, try and get people to, feel better, and yeah, it's been a very tough year for a lot of people, and I speak to quite a few people that have gone through a very hard time, whether it be with work, whether it be with family, losing people. And I was trying to avoid bringing up Brexit, but Brexit is a major problem for us.
No, at the end, it's like a
yeah. I'll put it this way: the situation we have with Brexit is that we can still travel to other European countries. Guests can still travel here, but for artists, it's going to become a problem. For artists, we're going to have to get certificates for them to come to this country and teach.
So, guys, this means Robert will negotiate really hard for the next year.
Yeah, it's going to be hard.
It's going to be a translated version.
It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. It's made it that much more harder. I think each certificate is going to cost something like 240 odd pounds for a certificate. It's not easy, and in this time, the last thing we want to do is add that onto any weekend pass price. We just ain't going to do it. So someone's going to take the hit. So rather than come, we might have to teach remotely.
From the look of you, you don't seem to be the one that wants to take the hit.
Can we afford them? It's hard. It's hard. It's making it difficult. Yeah.
Larissa, we are always positive. So yeah. Any final thoughts aside from Brexit, Robert? And then I think we can go on side of this topic a lot, but I want to keep it concrete. And yeah, feel free to share your final thoughts. And I think we nailed it.
Well, final thoughts. It's been a tough year, really, for a lot of people. But I've always said throughout my life, I've always looked at my glass as being half full. I say my glass is half full, but it's empty right now. I always look at my glass as half full, not half empty. Yeah, and in saying that, it's about trying to find the positive and take something positive out of adversity. Yeah. And so that's how I've always looked at things. So when we came into this lockdown, there's two ways you could look at it. We could sit down and moan about what we can't do and that, but I saw it as a time to reflect, look at things, teach myself new things, learn new skills, take time to do things I never had the time to do before, because we've always been rushing around. Yeah. And I said, so what happens now, we got to prepare ourselves to move into the post-COVID times. And I think that's what people should actually try and focus on. What can I do to improve myself, to make myself better, to improve my skills, so that when we're ready to go out of COVID, you know, I am able to be a better person and be able to do something and achieve more and set more goals outside of this. So this is the way I kind of try and think, try and equip myself to do better when we come out of this.
And one question for you regarding continuing on your.
Oh yeah,
When
the other
we
thing
get
is,
out,
I forgot to mention, I've been doing a lot of walks with Gene.
you
Something
think
that
what?
I've
What?
a lot of walks. Been going
What?
and walking a lot. Yeah, yeah. Something I've never really done a lot. So I've been doing a lot of
You
walking.
needed to compensate for all that basic step, that you did. You don't do it anymore. So
We do a lot of walking. We go out.
I'm really interested also from the audience. The same, well, kind of the same question to you and the audience. What do you think? Will the audience be more not picky, more or not more harder on us, but in a way more demanding on us, or and that the job of the organizer will be a bit harder because people will maybe travel less, and when they go, they will really want to make it maximum. Do you think that this is the opportunity to make the events more quality, not say more exclusive, but on a higher level, and the audience would appreciate it? Because in my opinion, a lot of events were just having minimum production and minimum necessary content to look like an event, and could go by because it was kind of think of like average what everybody was, most of the events were like. Do you think that people will, knowing that this is a time, maybe, when they come to the event, I'm sure they will want to live it 100%, because in a way we were spoiled before. So do you think this is the opportunity and the audience would love to have better events, more quality events, and they would pay maybe more to get the better experience?
I've well, me and Gene, right? We've always looked at quality rather than the quantity when it comes to doing stuff. I mean, you only have to look at where we have our Congress, right? We could have gone to a cheap holiday camp or something like that, which had capacity for more. But we're doing it at the Radisson. You don't get much more quality than the Radisson for running a festival. So we've always had that. If we do holidays, we always look for the quality places to do it. We don't get the big numbers because the big numbers wasn't what we were about. What we were about was what we want to produce and what we want to deliver. It's always been that way with us. And the people that come to our events, they appreciate that. There's people that want, put it this way, there's people that want to eat at McDonald's, yeah, and there's people that want to eat at Gordon Ramsay.
Mm.
Yeah,
I don't know, Gordon Ramsay, but I trust it's a good one.
right. So it's that kind of way. So you're providing something for everyone. You're going to get a lot more people going to McDonald's than you're going to get going to Gordon Ramsay. It's going to be smaller. But we're trying to provide Gordon Ramsay quality, but not at Gordon Ramsay price. Yeah, the price is always been sort of lower than that, and we're not going to stop producing events that are quality. We're not going to compromise that in any way. And the people that require that want that, they'll pay to come to it. And some people might think, well, no, I don't care about the quality. I just want to dance. And you do have people that want that, and we respect that. But that's not what we're about. We're always looking for the quality, so we won't change in that respect. It's who we are.
I think that is a great finishing word, Robert. Thank you very much for participation. I look forward to have another chat with you, backstage, offline, online, whatever. Always inspiring to speak with you and to listen to your thoughts. Thank you, guys. Yeah, you want to say something?
It's been great speaking with you. I just want to say that I've been fortunate that when we went to lockdown, people talk about having a bubble that you can thing. Well, me and Jean have been lucky because we have what we call a social bubble, yeah, and that social bubble that we speak to people on a regular basis online. I say social bubble, a virtual bubble. So we speak to people online all the time. We do parties every Saturday online. So if anyone that's listening to this want to take part, you can come along and join our virtual bubble. Yeah, and our virtual bubble we're on a Mixcloud. That's mixcloud.com/Mambo City. You can come there. Me and Jean are there every Saturday from 9:45 in the evening onwards. Yeah, so we look forward to seeing people on that. So come on that, follow us and join the party. Now we just want to give positive energy and try and uplift people at this particular time.
I will come definitely, but sometimes kids get better of me. I fell asleep with them.
Okay.
So thank you again, Robert, and guys, thank you for commenting and watching. I already have scheduled talks with some of more promoters, some of them being Ivan from Amsterdam, Adolfo Dacochea from Mamboland. Looking forward to talk also with them and to see what are their thoughts about the future of dance events. So and also, yeah, I forgot. Next week I'll be talking with Moaz from Paris International Salsa Congress. Unfortunately, he postponed his event also this year to 2022, and we'll see what is the situation in Paris. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Robert, very much again.
I didn't get to offer you a drink.
Look,
Yeah.
I'll take. Wait. Let's see what's on it. Wait. I know. Oh, Diplomatico. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
bring it all in Croatia this year.
Okay. All right.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Bye to all. Be safe,
Okay.
stay safe, and send me best regards.
All right. Take care.
Yeah. Bye, Robert.
Bye.